Okay, so everybody asks me about gear, gear. How to gear a champ, how to gear. And I've seen a lot of people gear champs wrong in my clan, so I'm gonna go over the basics of gearing up a champ. Alright, you look at your camp and you look at your skills. And his damage is based on HP. And I've seen people stick not an HP chest on, but they'll stick an attack chest on. Well, attack doesn't do anything for an HP champ. Same way when you go through and you look at like Blood Twin here, and you look at his skills. His skills are damage is based on defense. So, what kind of artifacts do you want on him? You want defense. It wound up with it was a purple one. It had the defense here. I really would, and but it's a 6-star defense, and it was one of the better 6-star defense chests I had. And I would really wish that these two attacks were gone. I'd rather have accuracy here. I'd rather have resist here. A lot of other stuff I'd really rather have here in attack, because attack doesn't do anything for this champion. Alright, so you want anything that does some damage. If you can, you want to get the crit rate up as close as you can, up to 100%. And all the time you're not going to do that. There are other champs that can increase your crit rate, but they can increase them like 30%. You throw Archmage Helm in here, his crit rate goes from 76% to 106, because he has a 30% chance that he throws on everybody. He also increases the crit damage. A great champ to go into a team, but we're not talking about all the champs and stuff. We're talking about gear. So the gear that we want, I mean, most people will start out and they'll get Lifesteal Gear. And they love Lifesteal. Well, why do they love it? Because it gives you 30% of your health back for the attacks. And they'll get this and they'll think this is the end all to be all armor to have on a champ. But if you look through my champs, not a lot of them have it. He has a Stalwart set. Why? He's got a 30% reduced chance of the damage. If your champ's dead, it's not going to do any good if you got Lifesteal Gear on to go get an attack, because the champ's dead. It can't get any health points. If the champ is stunned, if it's froze, if it has those, or if it's feared and it's not attacking, you're not getting any health points back. But even if you're stunned and you've got on Stalwart Gear, well, what does Stalwart Gear does? It reduces the damage by 30% from an enemy AoE attack. And most of the enemies that you're going to do are AoE attacks. I mean, even the clan boss, even when he stuns, the stun is an AoE attack, and it's based on how much damage all the other players on how much hit points that the guy that took the stun is. So almost everything that you're going to do, like when you go into arena, people are not going to be hitting you with a single target attack a lot. They want those AoE champions to knock you out as quick as they can. Usually arena is over in a few seconds. There are exceptions, because there are certain arena builds that you can do where single target champs do really well, because like they will freeze you when you apply buffs or things like that, and there are some of those champs that will mitigate a speed run team. But when you look, most of your arena teams are speed runners. But this always lessens down 30%. So you're talking about every time you're being attacked, just about, you're losing, you're receiving 30% lower damage. Now, when you have really good healers in your teams, like when you've got Bad L giving you he's giving you 2 continuous heals that are 15% each. So that's 30%. And what you're looking for in those artifacts is get your speed up high, so that you're looping the thing. So you want your speed up as high as possible. So he's at 220% speed. So what happens is, a lot of times he'll loop the clam balls, or he'll loop the doom tower. So he's applying a lot of time, and a lot of times he's playing like two. He may get four of these poisons up, plus he gets four of those heals up on you. So when he gets four heals up on you, that's 60% of heals just from him every turn. I usually use Black Knight a lot in my teams. Why? Well, he's got the increased defense. The increased defense increases your defense by 60%. So when you get your defense up, like with him, he's got 2,700 defense. You get your defense up to that, with that 60%, he's over 4,000. About 4,000 defense gives you the max minimization that you're going to get from the damage that you take, which is about 80-something percent, like 81, 82%. Now you can go up to 5,000 defense. You're going to only get maybe like 1 more percent. It's like it goes up and it flattens out, as the curve goes up. So at a certain point, you can't make a 10,000 defense guy and you're going to mitigate 99% of the damage. It just doesn't work that way. And about 4,000 is about where you can max out at. Well, getting 4,000 is very hard to do. It's not hard with a 60% guy because you're getting 60% of this. So, you look at like, I've got 2,700. Well, I'm getting about 1,600 more from his 60%. So that gets me up close to 4,000, or a little bit over. Now, you want speed, like I said, so he's got a speed set on him. Now, the gear that I usually put on is a lot of speed, especially for arena, especially for Doom Tower. I've always got everybody up around 200%. Your nukers have to be a little bit slower because you want the debuffs out first. So like, you've got to get Ursa to go first. Doesn't matter if it's her, doesn't matter if it's War Maiden, it doesn't matter, because War Maiden drops the defense. That's what this thing does. It's a smart defense down. The guys that have a lot of attack, it drops their attack because they don't have as much, because like the attackers usually don't have as much defense. So it drops their attack down. And then after it drops their attack down, it drops their crit damage down. And then if they're defense guys, it drops their defense, and it has a strong defense drop, and it decreases their speed. So it's like a smart drop. It's a much better version than War Maiden is, but it's also a legendary. Now, there are other champs that do this, that do the same thing about dropping the defense and all that down. Now, if you've been in arena at all, you'll notice that the first thing they've got is somebody with like, if I go down here, they're going to have somebody either like High Katrin, they're going to have Armstrong, and they're going to be the leads. Why are they the leads? Well, they're the leads because of that aura. It's 19%, and it increased the speed on everybody by that. So they go quicker. Same way, if you're played long enough, you get Arbiter. Well, you're going to use her because she's got a 30% speed aura in battles, in arena battles. Now, when you go through and you look at the artifacts, she's got all speed gear because I use her a lot in the arena. But now she's also got 27, but I also made it where she's got 2,700 defense. Why? I use her in clan balls, and I need to have her a little bit tanky because I want her to be able to pick up the people when they fall because she'll res everybody. So she's got really high defense that I can get for that speed, because that speed is really over 300. Her crit rate's at 72%. Her crit damage, I'm not here for her damage. I'm here to keep her alive. She's got almost 50,000 hit points. That's a lot for her. And, because that's almost 3 times her, her base. And I'm trying to keep her alive. And I want her alive as long as I can to pick everybody else up. Now, when you go through, you'll look, and I've got speed gear on her. Now, I need the debuffers. When you look at a champ and you look at their skills, the little black things means those are, the little red things means those are debuffs. Well, you give somebody who's got a lot of debuffs. Now, yeah, she throws 2, an allied protect and a strengthen on herself and an allied protect on the crew. I wish she was booked out because it would be perfect, but I don't have the books for her yet. But now, like, if you look at a champ and you see the red skill, and you see the red skills, they're debuffs. Well, debuffs mean that you need accuracy. When you're in a dungeon that's level 20, you need at least 200 accuracy. And Doom Tower, you're going to need a lot more than that. And Doom Tower, up at around level 120 on normal, you need about 250 on some of those bosses. You're going to need about 350 at the really high levels on the hard part. So, but you can get 80 from your Great Hall eventually. Now, so I put a set of precept gear on. You get it from fractions, from the material that you get out of fractions to make it. And you can make some really great gear as long as you get up to level 13 in fractions. You'll get the drops for the legendary gear. Now, you'll make the legendary gear, and it's got a 40% accuracy and a 5% speed. Well, that's much better than the accuracy gear. It's only got a 40% accuracy. You get 5 more speed from it. And every little bit of speed helps. I don't care what. I mean, that little bit of extra speed may make the difference. Now, when you look at the gear that I have, I mean, when you go through, and I turn all of it back on, see, I don't keep life set. They're worthless. I don't keep offense. It's worthless. I do keep speed gear. I keep a lot of speed gear. And I sell all this stuff. I might keep a little bit just to sell in case I need coins, but that's it. The crit rate, I don't put it on because, I mean, some people put one set of crit rate on, and it might be okay as long as the crit rate had a speed set in it. Because you're wanting speed in everything you got. You literally want, see, this thing's got a roll in the speed. I wish it had 2. It missed a roll in it. I wish it had another roll in it. You start looking, and almost everything I got, a roll in the speed. A roll in the speed. And eventually if I get another 6-star set and this, you're not going to have a speed down and a speed set of boots. And it's a 6-star set, the best you can get. For your accessories, you only can get speed as a subset in your banner. Speed, I've never seen a set in a ring or in a amulet, either one. Now, when you come through and you look, I don't usually use crit damage, even though crit damage could be good on somebody like Cold Heart, because the more crit damage you got, the better. I got lots of Lifesteal because I don't use a lot of it anymore. I use more of the Stalwart set. Now, Frost set, I don't usually use it. I do keep a few pieces around in case I need to sell for coins, and of course I keep a few set around in case I absolutely have to have a broken set, and I got some really great stats. Frenzy I don't use a lot of. Some people love Frenzy. Regen works really well. I mean, if I were going to replace a Stalwart set on her, because she is an HP champ, I would go through and I would put regen on. Why would I put regen on? Every turn it heals by 15% of her hit points. But I would probably get her hit points up higher than I've already got. I would probably try to get a a 6-star HP chest piece, which I don't have. I got a defense and I got a 5-star HP. But I would probably go in and I would probably get her. But I want her. She does a good bit of damage. I do want her to actually damage a lot, especially with that A2 that she's got. So, you kind of toss between, I put the regen set on, but there are some champions I run regen on because it just makes sense. Like when you go through and Samar can actually solo Dreadhorn. People have trouble with Dreadhorn, but he can actually solo it. But he can only solo it if you put regen on him. Now, you need his speed up, because if you don't get his speed up, and I wish his speed was higher, and if you don't get his speed up, he's got to get above the champ. The highest the champ speed is 170 on the normal. Well, he's at 170. So he's right with the champ right now, and I wish I could get his speed even higher. And as I get a better set of regen gear that has more, like the helmet doesn't have the speed in it. And this one does, but it's not as good a helmet. But I need to farm some more regen for him. And regen for him, but it doesn't matter because he's killing all the hard right now, all the Dreadhorns all the Dreadhorns on the normal Doom Tower. Now when I get into the hard part, I may have to go back and farm some little bit better gear and kind of move this stuff up some more. Because like his glove is a defense glove, but it doesn't have any speed in it. And it's important that either he has like HP or he has, and probably, either he has to have HP or he has to have the defense. You want his defense up around 3,000, but you want to max out his HP for Dreadhorn. And what you want to do is you want to give him regen. Well, why regen? Well, that's because every round he gets 15%. It doesn't matter if he gets damage or not. Let's say he gets stunned. Well, it doesn't matter. When his turn comes up and he's still going to get 15% of that 63K. So he's going to get almost 10,000 points worth of hit points back every round. Doesn't matter if he's stunned, doesn't matter if he's froze, doesn't matter what. He still gets 10,000 hit points from it. And if you get his hit point, and I've seen people get his hit points up to almost 80, 90 K. Well, at 100K, he's going to get 15,000. He's going to get 15,000 hit points every time. And regen works really well on the HP champions. Now, it's because their HP is high for the base part. They would really work pretty well on Tundra because Tundra has a really high HP. But you're not really looking at for Tundra. And Tundra I got a long time ago. That's the reason she's got Lifesteal Gear on. And going back and refitting by everybody with 16, if I wanted to re-gear to a different thing, to go back and put another set of gear on that's, level 16, you're talking about millions of coins, and you know how hard coins are to get in this game. Now, that's a good set. Immunity, nobody hardly uses immunity. It lasts 2 turns. It's nice for the 2 turns, but then after that, it's gone. And if the fight lasts over 2 turns, then you're just going to die. A shield set is good especially for arena crew, or even for a Doom Tower crew, because it does last 3 turns. What you want to put a shield set on is an HP champ like this. Why? You got 60K. You really want one that's got about 80. And what you do is when you put this on here and you put the shield set on, you get 30% of the hit points from that allied for a shield for 3 turns. So you look at okay, I get this thing to 80,000 points worth of hit points, which you can do. And 80,000 hit points will give you 24,000 points worth of shield. Well, how much shield is that? Well, look down at Cold Heart. Cold Heart, even with all the stuff that I try to tinker with, has got 34,000. Well, she's going to get a 24,000 shield. She's going to get a shield almost as much as she's got hit points. And, that's really going to keep anybody on your team alive. I mean, she'll get it big because of that. But, she's an attacker. Look at him. He's got 29, almost 30,000 points. But he's going to get a 24,000 point shield from a shield set. But I don't usually run shield sets, but because I don't have really great shield sets. But if I was going to put them on, but the ones that I can put on that I usually use, I'm not using. There's only one HP champion I'm really running a lot right now, and that's Ursa. And I don't want to run a shield set on her because, like I said, for my particular setup right now, I'm using her for a lot of damage from this, and a lot of times she can knock out a shield from doing this. I mean, just from this attack, and then she places all those debuffs, and I've had people with shield sets on, and this one attack will not only lay all those debuffs, but it knocks out the shield because she's that strong. She's a strong HP champ. Now, some HP champs don't hit that hard. Miscreated Monster is a good one for it because why? Well, not only will they give you that 3-turn shield to start out with, he also has a lightning strike gives a big shield. His big shield comes in Spider when he hits all those little Spider because it's based on the damage that he does. But he does a really nice shield in Spider. Now, when you're looking at gear though, when I come through, now Destroy works pretty well in Scarab King, especially on Virgus, but I don't usually use it because I can use the regen. It works just as well, and I use a different champ than Virgus even. Toxic does not work well. I mean, you look at these pieces I got here. Most people would love them. There's a 6-star speed boot. There's another 6-star speed boot, but they don't work that well. It's the weak version of poison. It's got a 75% placing one weak version of poison, which is not much. I have seen people use this on one of the Doom Tower bosses that kind of work for a solo champ, but I don't use it. Taunting, 30% chance fighting a provoke. Don't use it. Most defense guys that have you would use this on, like when you look at Blood Twin. Well, Blood Twin's skill is to do a provoke. When he goes through and he does that burning lash, he provokes people. And then it decreases the attack on top of that. So you've already got a provoke guy. And you've got to have a defensive guy for a provoke anyway that throws a shield up or something. Because if you got everybody in the arena, everybody else is attacking you, you need a really good defensive guy with a lot of hit points to take all that damage. Now, when you go through and you look after that, when you come down here, I mean, the Frost, I've used it kind of nichey, and it's got a 20% chance of freezing. It's annoying sometimes when you do get froze. But it's like any gear that you got. If you got if the other guy's got more resist and you got accuracy and you got this on, it's not going to work. Alright, so Relentless. Relentless only comes from like special events. Relentless is a great gear. Why? 18% to get an extra turn. Alright, that lessens your cooldowns on all your skills too. And I have seen that you get an 18% chance each time. I have seen people go 3 times with this gear on. It's a great set of gear because you start going 3 times with the same character, you start knocking stuff dead quick if you're using a nuker. Salvage gear is fairly good because it ignores 25% of the armor. But now, most people are going to use somebody to lower the defense down anyway. The Destroy set, like I said, some people use it for the Scarab King, and the Toxic doesn't work. I don't use Retaliation much because 35% for a counterattack, but I just don't use it. Avenging, I've got it on one guy, but I don't see where it works really well. Because, yeah, you will get the counterattacks, which is the base A1. And when he gets hit with a critical hit, well, he's not healing back up from this, and somebody else is going to have to heal him. And so you got to have a good healer with it, and it's like, and it's the only way I've seen it do is like it will do the A1 attack when he does this, and I haven't seen it where it does a cooldown for it either. Like I said, Stalwart set, great set. It's a great set to have on most of your champions. Reflex should go on Bad Alcazar. It should go on Cold Heart. It should go on Dark Elena. There are a few of these champions that they really benefit because they're your nukers. I've thought, and they quicken the cooldown. Curing set, I've seen somebody put it on Rector because it will increase Rector's heals, but Rector heals almost 50%. And then you're going to get bonus heal at 20%. So, you're talking about it's so much heals. But I don't use it. I don't see why Rector would use it. Because, you want to keep Rector pretty well tanky as it is. Cruel, I do not, it's increased attack by 15%, but attack isn't as strong as crit damage. It ignores 5% of the enemy's defense, but I don't use it hardly at all. Immortal Set, some people will put this on with the regen to kill the bosses in the Doom Tower, but 3% heal just really isn't much. Now what it does, it does up your HP by putting 2 sets on by 15%. So, you're talking about when you come back here and you look at like your HP guy, like Samar, by swapping out these 2 speed sets, I would sit down and I would gain another 3,000 points worth of hit points. But I couldn't do that because I couldn't get above the boss's speed because I didn't have a good speed set for the regen. So you have to watch your set for what you're doing. Now, if this thing, like I've got some of this stuff is new since I built this. I built him a long time ago to take care of that when Dreadhorn first come out. Now, with that speed increase there, and maybe with, if I were to swap out the weapon or something, but I would really need it on, see, the HP there is good, but guess what? No speed. So I'm going to lose that speed, that 12% speed. I lose that 12% speed, I'm not faster than the boss, and I'm going to die. And speed is extremely important. Now, when you look, and those are 6-star speed boots. So, and I'm going to swap this out, and I don't have a 6-star speed boot. So, I'm going to lose a whole lot of speed, and then I'm going to die. Because speed is more important than that little 3% worth of heals, or even that other 3K worth of hit points. Now, Divine Offense, I don't use it. The shields, all the Divine give you 15% shield for 3 turns. It's the same as a shield set. So, and people will talk about putting a shield set on your HP guy. Well, instead of putting a shield set on, I would put on a Divine set. Why? Because not only are you getting that shield for 3 turns, and the shield isn't as big, it's only 15, and it's only on yourself. But, but if you're going to put a shield set on for that 3 turns, yeah, it could help in Doom Tower and all that, and increase your crit rate. But I don't use most of the Divine sets, never have. Now, if I were going to use anything, I would probably use the Divine Speed. Because, it would be better for Arbiter or something like that. Because, you're going to get that same 12% speed, but you're also going to get a shield for 3 turns. Swift Party is a great set to have. 18% speed. Your crit damage is 30%. Crit damage is where your damage comes in. I mean, to put this on your nuker, it's a great set to have on your nuker. A 50% chance of unkillable when hit with a fatal hit. So, that means you're going to live through it half the time with fatal hit. And you're going to increase your crit damage by 30%, which is huge, because crit damage scales a lot better than other gear than your attack does. I don't use deflection. I don't use resilience hardly at all, unless I got some HP or defense guy that I just need a different set in, and I've got a set that has some really great stats. Perception I use a whole lot of. Why? Because most things that apply debuffs, they need, see, like this guy, he's got no debuffs, so you don't need any accuracy. But anybody else needs accuracy that has the debuffs. So that's where the perception gear comes in. Now, that affinity breaker is new. It would probably be, I haven't tried it out, it'd probably be a good, because it's 30% crit damage, and it's got a 20% chance to turn a weak crit into a critical. Now, set fatal is not as good. Bloodthirst is really good. Now, if I was going between having Lifesteal, this is Lifesteal with 12% crit rate. Yeah, it takes 4 pieces. It takes 4 pieces of Lifesteal. But I would go with the Bloodthirsty over Lifesteal. It's a better set. Guardian don't have enough to make up a good Guardian set yet, but a Guardian set will help with the team absorbing it. It's supposed to be a really good set to put on somebody like Ursa. Now, when I go through and I look at my gear that I get, I don't care what gear it is, but when I go through and I look at my gear, see, it's got speed in it. Got speed in it. Got speed in it. If I don't have a speed subset, I usually sell it these days. Why? I want that speed up as high as I can get it. I mean, with him, I don't have it up high as I want, but I got it high enough that it works right now for to kill Dreadhorn. That's what I mostly use him for. He'll also kill the Scarab King by himself. He'll solo it. So, and you're talking about in Doom Tower, to get past some of those bosses, that's really nice. I mean, you got this one champ you can just send in there with the rest of them, and as soon as they get to the champ, everybody else dies, but he'll just sit there in about 10 or 15 minutes and he kills the boss for you. And everybody else is having trouble getting through it. Now, like I said, when you're going through, make sure you look at your skills, look at your defense. If it's a defense-based attack, make sure your artifacts have as much defense in them that you can get. If they've got subsets that are like this one, it's got a defense piece with a defense subset. It's got an accuracy because he provokes. He's got a resist. Resist always helps. More defense always helps. But you look, and he's fairly, I haven't had him long. And I haven't really used him a lot, and I haven't maxed out his gear yet. Probably will before long, because I put him in my attack arena is all I use him for. But now he's already got 3,500 defense, and I'll probably get it up over 4th K or 4,500 if I can. His speed right now is 168, which is a little bit low, but I'll enhance his gear as much as I can to get it up higher than that. But he's he's not a bad, or she's not a bad champion. But I've got a lot of good champions right now. And and the thing is, but like I said, when you look at everything. Now, Bad L is an attack guy. But I don't have attack. That's rare. Why? I want Bad L to survive. And his attack, his skills, when you look at his attack, he only has one. That's all he has. This is not an attack. It doesn't attack the other guys. What this does, it places a heal on you and a poison on them, and then the poison doesn't do any damage until they take a turn. It's not like when he throws the poison, he gets some kind of damage from throwing the poison on him, because he doesn't. And the major damage that he gets is from that poison. It's not actually from anything else. Now, but he's a rare exception. I got this guy, and I haven't really went back and redid him completely yet, but I'm probably going to, because they upped him here recently. He was not very good, but they've upped his damage. He's gotten much better. But now, like, he can come through, and he's attack based. And I did put an avenge set on him because I had a good avenge. I had some fairly good avenge stuff, and he was just something that wasn't working really well anyway. And I said, I'll just throw this on just for the hell of it. But like, he has, you know, attack 17% with the speed. You look, I mean, the accuracy. I don't think he's got the stun, and I do like his stun that he does sometimes. Anybody likes stun because they can't move. But like, when you go through, he's got only about 100 accuracy, so he'll stun a few people in like arena or whatever sometimes. But now he's a one hit wonder, all except for that skill, the Gore Maker, and it does do a lot of damage now because they upped it. But he wasn't good until like a few weeks ago. Now, and I probably need to re-gear him and finish up his masteries, because I haven't even finished that up because he wasn't really good up until a few weeks ago. But he's much improved since then. You'll get a lot of your accuracy out of your banner, but I put attack banner on him. But so you look at what I have, and I have attack. Why? Because he's an attack champ. Your defense is defense, and your HP are HP. So you have to look at all that when you're gearing these guys. Now, you want speed boots on everybody. You want really good speed boots. You want, if you can get it, you want to have your crit rate up pretty close to 100%. That's 105. So that they crit. And 113 crit damage, which wish I had more. Now, when you look at Cold Heart has 78%. Why? Because her main skill that you want to use all the time, the Heart Seeker, gives you 30% extra crit chance with that skill. So that's going to give you 103% for her. So you're over what you need. You don't need to have, with 78% plus the 30, that's 108%. So that's it. You don't need, so she's going to crit every time. Now, so instead of putting a crit rate glove on her and getting it up to 100%, I got a crit damage. And you look at her crit damage, and her crit damage is at 230%. And that is what that skill is based on. It's all crit damage. It's not based on any attack. So that's where you get the major damage, and you get almost 2 million points worth of damage from her. From that, when you weaken and you drop the defense on stuff and the spider. So your gear, you have to be careful with gears, kind of each champ particular. But gear, remember, is defense for defense, HP for HP, attack for attack. Try to get your crit rate up to around 90, like this is 95%. That's pretty good. You might miss 1 out of 20 times with a crit. If you got anybody that gives you extra crit on the team, then you're going to crit all the time. The crit damage needs to be higher. But, I really haven't worked on her very much, and I need to. But like the ones that I do work on, that do like Ninja's at 91% crit rate. It's got 162% crit damage. And then you've got 217 accuracy, which you need. His attack is at 4,000. And he does some major damage, and I keep trying to find a little bit, as I go along, I keep trying to find a little bit better gear, and a little bit, because I just swapped that out. I don't even have it maxed out yet, because I just swapped it. But, when I get it maxed out, that's going to give me like a little bit more crit damage, or 12 more percent. Well, that's going to scale him. He's going to do even more damage. But that's how you look at your gear. I mean, the nukers are the attack percentage usually. And, but you can get defensive guys that do really good damage. But you're not going to get good damage out of your defense guys by sitting down and putting attack stuff on. So get rid of your attack stuff. Look for all defense. If they've got debuffs on them, make sure you put your accuracy on there. And that's basically how you build your gear. And that's basically the gear you're looking for. And and a lot of that gear is just garbage. But regen sets are good for HP. Stalwart sets are good. Lifesteal if you don't have Stalwart. And when you go through, perception's always good, especially for your debuffers. But that's basically your gear. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, the video, and I hope it helps you and with your builds and everything. And remember to subscribe and tell me if you like it or not. And if you do, then write some comments about what you want to see or how you want to know about the game, and I'll try to post something up for you. Thanks a lot.